soldiers on a grand paper plane, rolling dice to echo cannons refrain. Kingdoms rise within this tabletop dust. In strategy and chaos we place our trust. The generals leaned with a calculating stare. Hands of fate guide moves with a flare. Tiny hills climb where valleys fall steep. Battles fought while the house stays asleep. Wargaming dreams on a six-sided star. In this microcosm we travel so far. Heroes die small, but their legends grow large. In this tiny world, we're always in charge. Painted commanders in coats of bold hue patrol the terrain in colors so true. Armies clash with a flick of the wrist. Victory's a mark on a checklist kissed. Dice are the drums of this parade of might. The board is the map glowing soft through the night. Imagination ignites where the pieces collide. A universe unfolds we cannot hide. 100 battles fought in one single room. Victories blazing, entropy and gloom. Armies may fade, but spirits don't rest. In the heat of this game, we earners of trust. Tiny soldiers on a grand paper plane, rolling dice to echo cannons refrain. Kingdoms rise within this tabletop dust. In strategy and chaos we place our trust. The generals leaned with a calculating stare. Hands of fate guide moves with a flare. Tiny hills climb where valleys fall steep. Battles fought while the house stays asleep. Wargaming dreams on a six-sided star. In this microcosm we travel so far. Heroes die small, but their legends grow large. In this tiny world, we're always in charge. Painted commanders in coats of bold hue patrol.
All right, hello again, everybody. This is Derek, and I am coming back at you with another Wargaming and miniature video. I'm still getting everything set up, so bear with me. Okay, that should be connected. All right, so I'm going to say GM for good morning. Let's see if it pops up. Yeah, there we go. Okay, what's going on? With my layout here. Twidget. Okay. Okay. So now you can actually see it. Okay, got it. Wait, what the hell is going on? Oh, okay, got it. Perfect. All right, guys. Well, this is another episode of our Wargaming Weekly. Bear with me, I got some kaopectate in my mouth. Because I had a little upset stomach moments ago. Okay, I've got a giant base for my anti-tank gun, which I still need to build. It's a 3-inch gun, or 76 millimeters, depending on how you want to measure it. I've got some crew bases here. These should be 60 millimeter. Because I'm basing these guys for bolt action. Let's double check this. Yep, 60 millimeters. So, like this machine gun crew, I think that's it, really. I was wondering if I wanted to put this bazooka team on a crew base like this, or did I want to just use pill bases? Usually on a prone model, I use pill bases, and I could have used 2 pills on these guys instead of the crew served. But like this machine gun, it's actually a BAR. It'll go on a pill. And these guys that are going to be mounted as crew that'll go on this base, they'll definitely be on a pill. They'll be on the pill. Okay. Yeah, I think I'll go like that. I think I'll put that bazooka on a crew serve base like that. All of this is going on sale in my store once I get them painted. Okay. So the first thing I need to do is clean the models. I've already washed them with soap and water. Um, but now I want to clean them either a flash or any kind of mold lines, or specifically the bottoms of their bases. They might have a little burr or something where they won't want to stand up straight. And if that's the case, well, I mean, that is the case. That's when I go ahead and use my Mark 1 base smoothing tool. Get my garbage can, put it between my legs like I'm making love to it. And then I'll put some glasses on that really magnify my vision, so I get a much better view. Now I put these guys sort of in a groupings because all of these guys are, well, first of all, they're all Americans. Okay, I'm not getting a good grip on this guy. But they come from a couple of different packages that are all support elements. Nobody here is your average everyday Joe squad member, not your rifleman. We've got BARs here in the upper left. Oh man, that's a big little burr. Big little burr? No, it's a big burr. Got a lot of good news for the store. Just FYI, for those of you that are paying attention. I have put a fairly sizable order in with Old Glory. So I should be getting in some Napoleonics. I should be getting in some American War of Independence. I should be getting in American Civil War. I think that's all I ordered. Mainly because looking at my collections that I have for sale are all getting light. You know, like I think I've only got like 2 packages of American Civil War. Napoleonics, I got some odds and ends. This time I actually ordered quite a bit of regular French and British. I think I still have some Prussians and Russians and Austrians available. But just due to the nature of the way my store works, I can't stock everything all the time. I have to do a rotating inventory. Like 1 month I might have a bunch of British, and then I sell a bunch of British, and then the next month I might have a bunch of French, and then I sell a bunch of French, and then I order some Prussians. Or, failing that, I might order some Romans, you know, from ancient Rome, and then I sell them and order some Civil War, because I can't stock everything I want all the time. That's just too much money. I don't have. I'm not made out of millions. And I made sure to order an extra pack of all the miniatures that I needed to finish my Quatre Bras. Remember when I said I had already ordered everything for Quatre Bras, but then I put everything for sale, and then I either worked on it or I sold it. And so I got to a point where I wanted to work on a, a cavalry unit specifically, and I looked in my inventory because I said, "Oh, I'll just go grab it out of the inventory," and it wasn't there because I had previously sold it. So I said, "Okay, let me just reorder that." That that happened with my Belgian infantry and my militia, Dutch Belgian militia, and the regular Belgian infantry and the Jaegers. Apparently, I had sold all of that and without putting any of that together for my Quatre Bras. And then also some French Guard cavalry. Okay, so I got the old glory order coming in. Um, what I found with the old glory orders, whenever I put an order in that's pretty big, it's like an $800 order. When I put an order in that big, it tends to take about a month before I receive it. The because they cast it to order, so I have to wait for the order to be for them to get it, which they've already gotten it. They got it last week, but now they have to take some time to put all those miniatures through their molds, and then once everything gets cast and packed, then they'll ship it out to me. And I usually get it just a couple of days after they put it in the mail. I did look at Blue Moon because I'm really impressed with Blue Moon miniatures. I did look at the Blue Moon miniatures, but they didn't have any of the Belgians or Dutch. It was all the major nations. They had some minor nations, but they were like Württembergers or something like that, or Bavarians. Not not Dutch. And I don't know why, because Dutch is like they fought with Napoleon and then later against him. So just so you know, I've got BARs up here. Um, I'm doing bazookas right now, bazooka and bazooka loaders right there. These guys over here are officers. Officers and NCOs is what the packaging says. These are all Westwind Berlin or Bust miniatures. Okay, that one wants to tip over. Okay. And these guys right here are all the light machine guns. And the light machine gun package was actually shipped out to a customer. And when he got them, he said he didn't want them. And he returned them. He didn't like the quality on the models. I think he's maybe spoiled. Maybe he's. I'm just saying maybe because I don't know. He's probably not used to models that you have to file the bottoms or take an X-Acto to the top of their helmets and get rid of mold lines. Or uniforms. Maybe he's used to plastic. He probably thought, hey, I'll just order these and... Because like this guy right here, he's got a big chunk of metal that goes from his jaw to his wrist. And that's going to have to be cut off. But that doesn't make that model a bad model. That just means you got to put a little extra work into it. You got to clean it up. You got to clean your models. Like I'm doing right now. I'm cleaning my models. But some people are, I'm not going to say spoiled, but maybe not used to having to do any work. Maybe they thought they could just take it out of the package and paint it right away without cleaning it up. But I've been around since, when I say I've been around, I mean I've been painting miniatures since the late 70s. This is nothing, my man. You should have seen those Raul Partha or Grenadier models. Back when I was doing like D&D miniatures. And you had to glue wings onto a dragon, but they didn't even fit. the molds weren't even the same, you know. Yeah, that guy doesn't want to stand up, but you know what? When I glue him to his base, he'll stand up. Now, I'm not sure which four of these guys I'm going to use as the gun crew on this thing. I probably look at the actual package on their website and see which of these figures are supposed to be the gun crew. All right, last one to file the base. Well, I finished the epic, two of the epic regiments. They're already shipped out. The customer might even already have them. He might get them today. Who knows? I don't know how long it takes to get there. But at least they're either on their way or he's already received them. I need to pick the next group of figures I'm going to do for him and then send him his invoice. I'll probably do that after we stream today. Also, I had a customer talk to me in chat on live saying that he was going to send me some Prussians to paint. And he has 8 figures a base, and 2 bases represent a unit. So 16 figures is what he needs, and he doesn't need me to base them. He said he'd base them himself. All he needs is the figures painted. But he could send me a pack of 32, which is 2 units. But he's not sent them to me. And I'm not going to hold my breath waiting for him. I just continue on with my work, and if they show up, then I'll squeeze them into the work schedule. And he was thinking about a group of 32 every month. And I was like, okay, we could do that. We could definitely do that. Okay, so let me, now that these guys are all filed, other than that, holding off on that just now, I'm going to use my X-Acto and go through each of these miniatures. I'll try to be on camera. And if I see a line, mold line, across a helmet, I'll clear that off. Mold line down this guy's back. Clean that off. Pants, boot. Face, machine gun. The rest of it looks good. He's done. Almost always you'll get 2 halves of a mold and they push them together And a lot of times they'll have a bolt that goes through the mold material, the rubber or whatever it is, and they'll tighten up the bolts to get the molds to be together and sturdy and not come loose. But sometimes, this is something that I've heard, you tighten the bolts up too much and it'll cause a air gap or a vacuum. The vacuum seal will no longer be, won't be sealed anymore. And that is only one of probably a billion different reasons why they'll put the metal in there and it'll seep in between the two molds. The metal will seep up in between. And then when you pop the figure out, he'll have this little bitty line like going across his helmet or down his sleeve or something where the two molds would have pushed together, leaving a mold line that has to be cleaned. Okay. Now, a lot of times, they'll push the mold together and then they have to input or pour the molten metal into the mold, and then they put it in a centrifuge or whatever to ensure that all the metal goes into the mold where it's supposed to. So there has to be a spot where the metal meets the road, where the metal meets the miniature. And so there's going to be a huge amount of metal sticking off of the miniature somewhere. Most companies put it on the base, and so like the model will be in the mold like this. They'll pour the metal here, but with it spinning, the metal will go up into the mold up here. And then when it dries, you're going to have a little bit of a burr, not dries, but cools off. You're going to have a little bit of a burr sticking off of the base. That's normal. Now, there's some companies out there that will take their miniatures and run them over a grinding wheel to get rid of that one burr and send you the miniature without a burr. And then there's other companies that don't, and you leave these giant burrs on there. They might take a clipper and clip them. But then you, as the customer, need to clean the bottom with a file, like I just did. When they're really, really, really heinous, then I'll get a clipper first and I'll clip off the big burr and then I'll file it. Yeah, that little piece of metal, it came off so easy. I don't know, I'm just disappointed in this customer. But it's his money, it's his decision. If he doesn't want to do all that work, I reckon I understand. Now, I think all of these are leg infantry. But some of them might actually be airborne, but I'm not sure. Because these are, I'll have to look closely at their uniforms when I go to paint them. Because, because they're just sold as American light machine gunners. So they could very easily be paratroopers in the package. I mean, if it was only paratroopers, they would list it paratrooper light machine guns. You know, like this guy doesn't have. Yeah, I take it back. He's got a little bit right here. Stomach is growling. It's not growling. It's. Oh, wait a second. Is this guy a bazooka man or I mean bazooka crew member or is he an anti-tank? I think he's bazooka. Yeah, he looks like he's carrying a bazooka satchel on his back. Okay. Yeah, that guy's done. And the most heinous of any mold lines is always the tops of the helmet. But that's only if the helmet is smooth, like it doesn't have a helmet net or it doesn't have a helmet cover. If it's just a metal helmet, when you paint it, you'll see that mold line. Okay, back to the store. Um I also have an order coming in from my paint and terrain modeling supplies. And I didn't put a huge order in. I think it's like really, really small, like maybe 20 bucks or less. But I ordered some plastic tubing, just under 2 millimeter, like maybe 1.7 millimeter or something like that. Oh, damn, this machine gunner has like no mold lines. Yeah, he looks good. Um, so I ordered some plastic tubing, and I ordered it because of those fences that I was wanting to make. Remember, I said I wanted to make some fences with stones at the bottom and then wood at the top. Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make some stone fencing with this plastic tubing simulating the wood on the top. And I think I might take some sandpaper or something and kind of roughen it up or something. I don't know. I want to make it look a little bit like wood. Um, I thought about using toothpicks, but they're just way too thick. I need something thinner. Now, I've considered taking the toothpick and then filing it or shaving it down and making it uh, smaller. But as you can tell, I decided against it. Now, sometimes on the pants, you can get away with not filing them down because the line that goes down the leg could be a seam in the trousers. It just depends on where it's positioned. Ooh, I almost dropped that guy. These guys are very slick. Slippery, that is. I don't know if you noticed this, but some of these guys, I'm not even cleaning anything off of them. keep hearing thunder and rumblings outside. The last few days it's been really raining pretty hard. There's been gaps, like it'll rain real hard and then it'll stop. And then the next day it'll rain super hard and then stop. So I'm kind of anticipating it raining again today. And I did just hear thunder. Also, I don't plan to stay on too long today. Mainly because I got a couple of other projects that I've got that I don't want to have you just sit here watch me do this. I mean, it might be exciting, but I'm not going to talk really while I'm doing it. So it would be kind of like a silent video if I did it. But what I plan to do is I just bought some shakers, right? Like salt and pepper shakers. They're clear plastic and they're big. They're like 21 ounces. So they're really big. They're not as big as like a Woodland Scenic shaker, but they're almost, because a Woodland Scenics I think it's 32, but these are like 21 or something like that. And what I plan to put in them is my various flock that I have. Or I should not say that. I should say the top 16 flock. Whatever flock I have that's in my top 16 of the ones that I use for everything I do. Because I have 16 shakers. I bought 16 shakers. Around 21 ounces each. And it wound up being about $11 or $12. And they have a lid that you can pop open and pour out of. Or like a salt shaker, it'll have like holes that you can shake or sprinkle out of. However you want to do it. And it might be better to shake static grass out of a container instead of reaching in and grabbing it with my fingers and sprinkling it. I don't know. Because what I've been using is Tupperware bowls, and then putting flock or static grass or foliage, clump foliage or earth blend or whatever I've got, foam, static, or sawdust. And some of this stuff, I've got these big containers. This is really kind of what motivated me to do it. I have these gigantic containers, but I only have like 10 ounces of stuff in there. And I feel like it's wasted space. These containers are full. I mean, mostly empty is what I'm saying. So now I can take whatever's in those Tupperware containers and I can put them in these shakers. And because the shakers are square, they'll stack. I do plan to lay them on their side. And I'm trying to decide if I want to put a label on the cap, which I think is what I'm going to do, or on the side of the bottle, or both. Because if I put a label on the cap, when I lay it down in my shelf, I'll just look at all the caps because they'll all be pointing outwards. But if I put it on the body, then I also have the idea that I would stand them up on a shelf. And if I do that, I'd want to put it on the body. So I've been thinking about doing it on both. It's really going to depend on where I put them on the shelf. If I put them on the shelf that I have to lay them down, or am I going to put them on the shelf where I can stand them up? Because my shelves are at different gaps, different height levels. If I lay them down, that's another advantage. If I lay them down and stack them, I would be able to see all of the labels. But if I stand them up, I'm not going to be able to stack them, but I can put them 2 or 3 deep on the shelf. And then I wouldn't be able to see all the labels unless I pulled some off and looked behind. That's one reason why I'm thinking laying down would probably be the best. I love how a lot of these bazooka men are also carrying carbines. And I've been keeping my eyes open. I haven't seen one paratrooper. These are all leg infantry so far. One way I can tell right off the bat is if they have a gaiter or not. If they're wearing gaiters, they're leg infantry. Well, they could be glider. Glider troops wore the standard leg infantry uniforms. And there's a couple of versions. There's the green I want to say MCT, but that's not right. They're the herringbone twill, HBTs. Yeah, so there's these units that wore the green trousers, and then other units wore the field drab trousers, the wool trousers. So I'll probably do some of one and some of the other. That way, whatever your unit you're doing, there'll be an option for you. Okay, that officer's got a good helmet on his head. Oh, whoa, what is this? Okay. Right there in his crotch. The mold bled into each other. No, I think that's good. I don't think I need to mess with that. Oh, that's a magazine. Okay, I was wondering what the hell that was earlier when I pulled these out originally. But yeah, he's got a Thompson with no magazine, and then this thing right here in his hand is a magazine. Okay. Is this the guy that doesn't want to stand up? It is, because it looks like I didn't file his base very good. Okay, now he stands up. Yeah, so basically I need to go through my flock and I need to organize them a little bit. And that's what I was talking about. I don't want to film that. I'm just going to do it off camera. And there's another thing that I've started that I haven't finished. It actually has made this room look like a disaster. Luckily, I'm not going to show you. But I've got a ton of packing materials that when I order stuff, let's just say like when I order an Amazon order, I'm going to use that as an example. Because that's where 99% of my packing paper comes from. Like, I will open my box from Amazon, it'll have packing paper in it, and then I would take that packing paper and I will I shoved it into a box where I would save it. And then whenever I needed to use it, packing my own stuff and shipping it out, I'd pull it out of that box and I would ship it. Right? Right. The problem with that is I get way more incoming than I use outgoing. Because I also use bubble wrap. And I've got these huge rolls of bubble wrap. And I basically am down to my last little bit of bubble wrap. So I reordered my bubble wrap. And I got them in the other day. And they're in this huge box because I get these 2 spools of bubble wrap and they're gigantic boxes or gigantic spools and 2 of them in a box. And I have nowhere to put them. So I thought to myself, if I pull all that paper out of the box that I got it shoved into, I could put one of my spools of bubble wrap in there, along with some paper. And then I've got another box, one right here, that has the other roll of bubble wrap in it, just out of sight, out of mind. And so I put some paper back in the box with the bubble wrap, but that left me with a ton of paper. So I've got another box over here full of packing paper. And I've got a bunch of boxes that I've kind of been hoarding, thinking, you know, I might need this box at some time in my life. You know, this box got a unique shape I might be able to use. And I've been holding on to these boxes for months on end. And I'm like, and they're just taking up too much space in my laboratory. So I came to the conclusion I'm just going to break all these boxes down and recycle them. Just get them out of my shop. Um, so I'm in the process of getting some of these boxes broke down. And the paper, I've got to figure out a better place to put the paper so that I could take it to the dump. All right, guys, I'm going to take a 5-minute break. My stomach is yelling at me, telling me that I've got to go use the bathroom. So I'll be back in just a few minutes to continue on with cleaning these guys. So bear with me. I'll be right back. Grabbed one of the bottles to show what I was talking about. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Appreciate it. I'm probably only going to be on here for another 30 minutes or so because I have all that extra work I need to do. You know, the work I've been talking about. The paper and cardboard, which is really taking up a lot of my space, which once I break all those cardboard boxes down, I'll have a lot of space over there. And I'm also thinking over the next couple of days, I might be able to set up my Freeman's Farm scenario and then play it live or record it and edit out all my misconceptions. But I think I'd prefer to play it live. Okay, so this is one of the bottles. They all came in this plastic sleeve. You can see how clear plastic that is. And it's got a big enough. Now these are two sides, right? So this could pour out or this can sprinkle out, right? I'm not really sure if a label, I've got labels, would go on there very well. And, you know, it unscrews, you fill it up. Yeah, it looks square, so I was thinking I could lay them down on the shelf and stack them, or I could just stand them up. And I could probably put them, oh hell, I could probably put them 1, 2, 3. I could easily put them 4 deep. So 4 by 4. And I can put labels on the side there, but the ones in the back, I wouldn't be able to see. That's my thought. But if I laid them down, they're not, there's a lot of wasted space, right? Because if this is a 12-inch shelf, I push it all the way up against the wall, I'll have this much space up front. Yeah, well, I could put things there, but then I wouldn't be able to grab these and pull them out. I still wouldn't be able to pull out the bottom one without taking the top ones off first anyway. But let me think about this. If I stacked them, seven inches, three stacked on top of each other is 7.5 inches. I don't know, I think standing it up is probably the best way to go. And I got a bigger, what do you call it, workspace, or a bigger, bigger real estate to put a label on there. Only a swallow left in this. A sparkling ice strawberry. I'm sorry, not strawberry. Starburst cherry. Just enough to get my meds down. There we go. Now I hope my stomach stops overturning. Glasses. There you are. Let's go ahead and finish these last few models. Make sure I have the garbage can beneath me so that when I do any scraping, any metal will fall. Yeah, I'm super close to having everything painted for my Quatre Bras game. Very close. Closest I've ever been in 15 millimeter, that is. At this battalion scale. I did all of Waterloo at the brigade scale, but it was less miniatures than what I've got now. I also want to work on my rules. I was thinking that I'd work on them today, but I don't think I'm going to get time for that because of my other projects. And not tomorrow. Because I'm going to finalize some things for my Pendragon game tomorrow. Make sure all the maps that I need made are made. Make sure all the combat units are made that are made. So I've got 4 players in my Pendragon game, and I like that amount. That's a good amount of people to play. But there's a problem. It's not a problem. It's a inconvenience. That's all it is. One of the players is going to miss this week because he's traveling to Europe for a family emergency. I don't know what the family emergency is. I'm not going to pry. But if he's got to go to Europe, then it's got to be serious. It's not something that can be resolved over a phone call. And then in a couple of weeks, another one of my players is going on a cruise that he's had scheduled for a long time, so that's not like a big deal. So what we'll probably do is we're going to play this week minus one player, and then one of that player that's going on a cruise will remind me. I think he said the 12th. What we'll probably do is just take that day off and not play that day. And I haven't, mainly because I keep forgetting, I haven't asked them yet if they wouldn't mind me live streaming it so that everybody can see the game of Pendragon being played. I don't think they'll have a problem with it. I just don't want to turn the camera on without their consent, you know? Because when I invited them to the Pendragon game, I didn't mention that I wanted to live stream it. So it would be kind of like an all of a sudden kind of thing. Okay. Those are all cleaned. Okay, those are the two carriage legs. Grabbing my clippers here because it doesn't want to bend off. There we go. It was bending the tray. This barrel is like, so let's see if we can't get it closer to straight. Okay. Now, a lot of times I will save pewter like this to put under bases or to make things weighted down or something like that. I've stopped doing that. Specifically, my old Warhammer figures, I would put metal underneath their bases to give their base weight. Pretty much, well, first of all, I don't play Warhammer. I usually don't use Warhammer bases for anything. I thought about, I actually really did think that I might start playing Warhammer the Old World, because that is basically the Warhammer of old, the Warhammer that I used to play. I really thought about it for a while, like, because I really want to play some fantasy. But I've got Oathmark. I've got Warlords of Erewhon. Oathmark's better. It's a better system. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Oathmark is more of a... they're both kind of generic fantasy. You could plug in any kind of monster or whatever into both systems. But Erewhon is a man-to-man game, skirmish, and Oathmark is also man-to-man, but it's not skirmish. It's you brigade. It's like Warhammer. You brigade them up into regiments, and you move them around in clumps. And the die rolls are a lot easier in Oathmark. The games go a lot faster because of that. Everything's so much easier to understand. Okay, I thought I saw a mold line, but really it's supposed to be there. It's a hinge. Oh, okay. Is this the trailer hitch? If the legs were together, okay. If the legs were together, this would go right there as the trailer hitch. So I don't know if that's actually something that I should put on the base off to the side or just not include it altogether. Because these legs are going to be spread out in the firing position. I'll have to look at some historical reference to see if that should be attached to one side or the other, or if it's like a separate piece that lays on the ground. But I'm going to go ahead and assemble this. I was hoping to get some I was hoping to get all these guys mounted on their bases so that I could prime them at least before I closed out the stream. But I probably am not going to get that far, to be honest. Should it be like that, or should it be pushed all the way on? Because it kind of looks like... But nope, I'm not going to do that. Okay. All right, Gorilla. Gorilla the Glue. So I'm taking the carriage and I'm just going to glue the wheels on. And I'm going to let those dry before I put the I might need to get another one of these glues down off my shelf. It's getting like really thick. Nothing's coming out yet. There it comes. Okay, that's one side and the other. Okay, I put that there so it wouldn't roll. Um, all right, so now I use Everbuilt uh, fender washers, 1 inch, and then it says 1/8 inch. So it's 1 inch diameter, but 1/8 inches in the inside. Right? I'm just going to grab a handful of these. I know I'm going to need more than that. But what I do, now the fender washers have two sides. I don't know if you know this or not, but it's got kind of a rounded, smooth side, and then on this side it's more flat and has a lip. So think of it like flat on one side and then kind of rounded on the other. So I put the rounded side up. That's the way I do things. And then I put a little drop of glue in the center of one side or the other. I could do both sides. Yeah, this glue is not wanting to come out. And it's just a small little bit. And then whenever I put my figure on there, I make sure he covers that hole. Right? So when I go to block it, he covers up that hole. This doesn't work really good with plastic models that have two legs, but if they've got a center base of any kind, works pretty good. And I only use super glue on metal basing. That's not really true. I use it on plastic on plastic basing sometimes. But when if I'm basing it on wood, I use a white glue. And I do plan to prime these on their base. And I plan to put white glue. Well, let me rephrase that. I plan to put a texture paste on there, and that's going to hold them on their base as well. And one good thing about using fender washers instead of like the Warlord Games bases, if you're using metal miniatures like these are, they'll tend to be top heavy. Is that 2 bases? It is. Yeah, they tend to be top heavy, but these fender washers help alleviate that, and it puts some serious weight to the bottom of them so they don't want to tip over. That's why I like them. Oh, wait, what? That's way too much. Maybe not. It just looked like it was coming out like crazy. Sounds like somebody's rolling up a garbage can. But our garbage can was never rolled down to the street, so that wouldn't be us. That's our neighbor. Because today's trash day. But I'm guessing we don't have a whole lot of trash in our trash can, so because it wasn't taken down to the street. Now, sometimes I've got to take my miniatures here and move them around just a little bit every now and then, just to make sure they're not, the super glue's not actually falling out of the hole, and gluing them to my placemat here. So I kind of shuffle them a little bit just to make sure everything's on the up and up. And usually when their weapon sticks that far forward, I only glue the back. This is probably why I can't see. Aha! Light. And I'm going to use this glue until it is a dead soldier. Okay. Making sure the hole is covered. And it doesn't have to be 100% covered. There can be a little daylight shining through. Because when you put your texture paste on there, you'll completely cover that little, if it's a little bitty hole, you'll cover that. But if it's a giant hole like that, you won't. Yeah. I also thought about getting some more trees. Because I noticed when I set up my Freeman's Farm battle, I was having to spread my trees out more than I wanted. I wanted it to be more thicker foliage. So I considered buying another pack of trees because you get 100 in a pack. Quite a bit. But I thought to myself, I'm not going to need 100 trees. So I thought about putting some trees together and then just selling them on eBay as part of my store. But I wound up not buying them. Because they were like 30 bucks. 30 bucks for 100 trees is not bad. What the heck? My finger must have got stuck on it. For those of you that are curious, the trees that I am using are called Heiki, Heki. They come 100 in a pack for like 40 bucks. Pine trees. Recently, I've kind of come to the conclusion that they need a little extra work. They don't have any bases. Okay, this was a bad glue job. Okay, maybe not. I might have got lucky on that one. They don't come with bases because it's a model railroad company, so they think that you're going to take those bases and stick them into styrofoam, or your train set, you're going to stick them in the plaster or whatever you're using. Okay, I'm trying to see how do I want to do this. Okay. And they're made out of plastic. So they have like a wire trunk that spirals, and then out of that spiral are these plastic, I don't know what you call them, strips that make the tree look like a pine tree or whatever. I found that if I rub the plastic strips with a little bit of Elmer's glue, and then I can sprinkle flock on it, they look way better. They look way, way better. Okay, that looks good. Okay, let's move these a little bit just so they don't accidentally stick to the table. And it lets me make sure that I know which ones are possibly sticking. Okay, this is not sticking. There we go. As the figure bases get smaller and smaller, you have to put the glue closer and closer to the center hole, which means you got to be careful about it gluing it to the table. Now, I usually put these figures a little bit off center anyway. Because their weapon a lot of times will stick out, and so I slide the miniature over so the weapon is over the base as well, even though his head is like directly above the center hole. But that's because he's leaning forward and his weapon sticks off to the side. Okay. He's got to stay. Let him dry a little bit. Yeah, like this guy might be a little difficult. So I just have to be careful. He should be all right. He should be all right. So are you guys looking forward to seeing Superman, the new James Gunn version of Superman, and the new DCU? Believe it or not, I'm not a big Superman fan. I Superman is the primary reason that I read Marvel all my life. Because I hate Superman. But I think my what's the word I'm looking for? My predilections might have changed because I'm starting to really dig Superman. I always thought that Superman from the comics was way too powerful. Right? He was godlike. Um, Indestructible. Yes, he's got kryptonite as a problem, but that wasn't enough for me. I mean, kryptonite is, every superhero's got a problem, but they're not as strong as Superman. He's got, he could do everything. He was good at everything. So I wanted a more grounded approach to superheroes. So I got into Captain America and Iron Man and the X-Men. Nova. Nova was like one of my favorite comics of all time, actually. Um, yeah, Nova. Captain America is my favorite superhero. Nova would be a close second. I never really got into Iron Man, but I understand he's in the same world. And I liked the Avenger comics. So I would get my fill of Iron Man through the Avengers. I liked Spider-Man. So I liked all those guys. I never really got into Batman or Superman or the Flash. I always thought they were kind of unreal. If that makes any sense. I always thought that they were like over exaggerated. Even Batman, I thought he was over exaggerated. Now, don't get me wrong, I love watching Batman and Superman on the big screen. Well, on the small screen because I'd watch it on television. But I dug it that way. But I would never buy a comic. Those guys were not my bag. But seeing James Gunn's trailers for Superman, I'm kind of digging it. To be honest, I really am digging it. So I'm thinking I might, for the very first time, pay to go to the theater and watch Superman. I might pay to go watch a DC movie. Okay, these guys all have small bases, so I'm going to have to really be careful. About where and how I put the glue down. The smaller the drop, the better when it comes to super glue, because it doesn't need a whole lot to get a really good solid grip. Yeah, there we go. Ah, okay, he wants to keep moving, so I'm going to leave him alone. Plus, I think this glue is a little bit old, so it takes a little bit longer to dry. But once it dries just as good as any other. Okay, that's not filed flat. And another another reason why I file it is because super glue and this washer and the miniature, they have to have kind of a flush connection. Well, you don't absolutely have to, but you get the best connection that way. When it's flush. Okay, that's good. Okay, a little bit of shuffling going on over here. See that guy? Ooh, he almost stuck. Yep, he had a little bit of that super glue on the bottom of it. Okay, so he's going to be a special case. Set him off to the side. Yeah, he's special. Okay. This is a BAR, not a machine gun. So he's going to go on a pill base. Mod Podge. Just a little strip of Mod Podge. Put him in a position that it looks like he would be good to go. Okay. He shuffled a little bit when I dropped him. Okay. Okay, that works. Now, this is a machine gunner. Tripod. I would almost consider that guy a medium machine gunner. This guy's got a tripod as well. Oh, I must have missed this. Or not seen it with the improper lighting. But he had a serious mold line going down the center of his back. Okay. So these guys, and I've got a couple of guys with belts. And I'm thinking that I'm going to put this guy with a net on his helmet with this guy without a net, and then put this guy without a net with this guy with a net. So they both have a net and they both don't have a net. Okay, well, this is an officer that goes on a single base. I'll put him together. Right now, I'm kind of just piecing what should go where. Now, I was saying that the prone bazooka team could go on a bigger base like this. Okay, this guy's a prone bazooka team guy. See, now this guy's looks like a bazooka rocket in his hand. But he's going to pair up with one of those bazooka men. These are the two pill bases. I think I can put him on this base. I can. He can go on that. He can go on that. He can go on that. Okay. That looks good. That looks good. That one looks good. Now, the only reason why I'm putting him on the left side of this bazooka is because he's looking to the right. Oh, just drip it all over the place. Okay. I want to put him so that he's looking in the right direction. Okay, he is. He's looking in the right direction. Okay. So that looks good there. These guys look good. Okay. Yeah, these guys I think are gun crew members. Okay. So all the wood bases are done. No, except for that one. Is he stuck? Nope. Okay, he's good. Yeah, I thought I filed these guys flat, but apparently not. Okay, he's good. This guy might be a gun crew member too. So, I don't even know. Oh, wait, I had one too many? Okay, what do we do? Okay. I think they're all, except for the gun, are all glued down on their bases. I'm not going to prime them on camera. I'm going to do that off camera. I plan to prime them khaki, US khaki. Whoa, he wanted to stick as well. Okay. That's why I move them around, to make sure that they don't stick. Don't have any desire to stick. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna prime them khaki and then work up from khaki. I was gonna do all the colors and stuff. You know how I do. Okay. I could do the legs, or I could do the sides of the gun. Yep, yep. Just like that. And then the other half of this. Okay. Like so. Yeah, but I can see where this is going to be a problem holding it all together. Okay. Yep, that's it. Oh, I could have put, okay, I'm going to put some glue there too. I wasn't thinking. Bitch. Try not to get my fingers all glued together. Okay, so that looks like it's pointing downward. Don't want a downward facing gun. Okay. It's going to take a moment for that to dry. Okay, while that's drying, I'll glue the other side. My fingers are all sticking together. Stop, you gravy sucking pig. Does anybody know where that came from? That comes from Saturday Night Live. I think it was Dan Aykroyd and Steve Martin are brothers. And they're not from America. And they say gravy sucking pig when they're talking about, different people. Okay, well, that's perfect, but it's wet and it's going to take a moment to dry. So, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to tripod it. Oh, wait, maybe I got to do this. That should work. Just like that. All right, we'll let that dry. And we'll work on this. Should it be this way or should it be this way? I think it should be this way. That's still wet. Still slimy, sticky. Yep, the wheels are moving around on me. Okay. The wider the better. I think that's good. Okay. Before I can put that on that has to dry, that has to dry. And then once all that's put together, then I'll put that on that. And then I'll glue it to that. And then once everything's dry, I'll go prime everything. But until then, that's the end of the stream. appreciate all of you coming out and hanging out with me this morning. I'm going to get me some lunch. My stomach has stopped growling at me. As soon as I have lunch, it's probably going to start growling again. I still haven't figured out what I'm going to do with all my extra brushes. I just can't bring myself to throw them away. All these extra pieces of junk. I will probably eventually throw most of those brushes away because all my good brushes are over here. Oh, we got a chat. What is this chat? Joseph. Hey, Joseph. What are we saying? We're saying, hi, I put some figures in the mail for you to paint on Monday. You should get them today or tomorrow. Okay, so those were the Prussians, right? Is that right? That was the you were the one that said you had 16-man units, and you were going to send 32 figures, right, to make 2 units, and that you were going to include your details in the package, like your email address, so I can send you an invoice, and the which regiments you wanted them to be, and if you want me to attach the flags, you have to provide them. That's not true. I have almost, if not all, of the flags for Waterloo Prussians. So if you want me to put some flags on from there, I will. But of course, I'm going to charge you for that. So, or you can say just no flags necessary. You'll add them later. You know, whatever you want me to do, I'll be glad to do it. If I get them in the mail, I will put this little project on hold because customers come first. Just FYI. Okay, let's leave you with a little bit of music on the stream out. If I can find it.
Tiny soldiers on a grand paper plane, rolling dice to echo cannons refrain.
Okay, so I have 2 things running at once. Is that what was going on? Let me see. To do that, I'm going to have to put my headset on.
Kingdoms rise.
Oh, you put the flags in? That's great. Okay, I can't hear anything. What's going on? Store music. Oh, I probably have it put on monitor only. I mean, not monitor, but output only. Now let's see.
Tiny soldiers on a grand page.
Still can't hear. What's going on? Okay.
Paper plane.
Okay, store music properties. Win 2 for some reason. I don't know why it's on that. Store music. Monitor and output. I should hear all of that. Settings. Audio. Headset looks good. Okay, that. Oh, I don't know why I can't hear that.
Tiny soldiers on a grand paper plane, rolling dice to echo cannon's refrain. Kingdoms rise within this tabletop dust. In strategy and chaos we place our trust.
In the screen, but I can't hear it.
The generals lean with a calculating stare. Hands of fate guide moves with a flare. Tiny hills climb where valleys fall steep. Battles fought while the house stays asleep. Wargaming dreams on a six-sided star. In this microcosm, we travel so far.
So, thank you guys
Heroes
again.
die small, but their legends grow large. In this tiny world, we're always in charge.
I'll go ahead and put everything together, put a fresh quote together, and send you an invoice via PayPal. It'll come to your email address. And
Painted commanders
what I'll do
in
is,
coats of bold hue patrol the terrain in colors so true.
I'll probably do yours
Armies
before I
clash
do.
with a flick of the wrist.
Well, I can't commit.
Victory's a mark
Whoever
on
takes
a
care of the invoice first
checklist kiss.
is the one that I will.
Dice are the drums of
thank
this
you first.
parade of
So,
might.
I'm sending
The board is the map glowing
Epic
soft through the night.
Commission guy
Imagination
his
ignites
second
where
invoice
the
today as
pieces
well.
collide. A universe
If he paid first,
unfolds we
I'm gonna do
cannot
two. And
hide.
I'm thinking I'm going to do 2
100
Confederate
battles fought in one
for him,
single room.
and then
Victories blazing,
save the artillery and the
entropy
cavalry
and
for
gloom. Armies may fade,
Alright guys,
but
I'm sorry,
spirits
I'm
don't
rambling.
rest.
You guys
In
take
the
care.
heat of this game, we earners of trust.